Hey guys, Aubrey here, and I wanted to just take a moment to show you it's actually a test, so we're going to do this in live time. I'm going to try to actually make the podcast from DevCentral Connects in Adobe Premiere so that we can get away from, any sort of other pieces of software. So I'm going to try it one way, and maybe you guys can get creative after this. So here's how I do it. One of the things that I know I need the song. So since I need the DevCentral song, I'm going to grab the what we refer to as the backup recordings and use those because I know the song comes unadulterated in that bundle because I've used it a bunch of times. So you can see I'm inside a blank project, but one of the things that I want to do is show you where to go on the interwebs, right? And how we're going to walk through the whole process here. Okay, so we're going to take a look at StreamYard real quick. So with StreamYard, right, I'm going to go into, we just finished up CES Highlights Consumer Tech Meets Cloud Compute with Sarbjeet Johal. I'm going to go ahead and download recordings. I'm going to do backup audio recordings. Now, it takes a little bit for these things to prepare and then come down. So I'm going to... There it comes. Okay. It started to actually come down. Alrighty. Now we're just going to wait for the zip to open here. Right. And I am going to unpack that. All right. That's one piece that we're not going to see. One piece of the magic. I'm going to unpack that into a directory. And actually, you guys can believe me, I'll just transition quick back. So I'm going to unpack the zip folder into a directory that I've created for this particular pproj, right? So my Premiere project is sitting in a folder for the show, and I'm going to drop the zip folder that is zipped into the project folder. All right, so let me go ahead and do that. So I'm going to show the zip file in Finder. Double click it. It expands the folder. And then all I need to do is drop that into my show folder. So let me get that. Episode 109. It's already got my project in there. So I'm going to do that. And now one thing you guys can see for sure, now that that's in there, is I'll go ahead and take my, I'm going to take my audio files that I extracted. I'm going to drag them into my project. Okay. Now for me, just personal best practice, I do enjoy creating new bins. I like to have bins of things. So I'm going to new bin from all the selection. And this is going to be, what is it? 2023-1017-DCC-EP.109. That is exactly what I'm doing. And this is going to be, who? Sarbjeet Johal. Then I've got music. And if we need it, outro. Okay? So one of the things that I like to do with the music is it becomes kind of the easy focus for me. I do a quick intro cut into the music, and then so we get a little taste of the music, and then bam, right into Boo's voice, and then we sort of fade the music out nice and slow. I do about half the song ish, and then at the end I fade up about half the song, very gradually at the end to kind of cue the listener, hey, we're coming up on the end of the show, so you better start planning to listen to something else. And then we end up going into the music at the very end after the goodbyes and out. So we're going to make a new project out of this. Now, Boo is going to be the major piece here, but just for ease of organization, I'm going to do the music. So I'm going to create a new sequence from the music clip. Bam, there it is. Now, one thing you'll notice, of course, we don't need any of the video stuff. It's beautiful. So look at this. The other cool thing about it is I said about half, right? So I can see some natural dips in this already. And we know we're going to have music, and we're going to have Boo, and we're going to have Sarbjeet. And if we need anything else, we'll make more then. But for now, we're going to make these all pretty big so that we can actually see the waveforms. And it makes, cutting and editing so much easier because you can just see the dips in the waveform. Now look at this. There's a natural dip in this song about halfway through. So since I like to go about half, watch this. Arbitrary cut. Yes. Just cut it. Why not? Now, next, we know that Boo is going to be kind of right in at the beginning, somewhere near the beginning. So we're going to drag Boo in here, and we're going to put him way up front here. Look at that. We got tons of space. So we're actually going to trim Boo down and just drag him in. I want you to see that. Again, let's pay attention. I did not listen to a thing yet. I don't need to. There's no need to listen to anything. We're just going to organize these things to try and line them up. Okay, and I am going to drag the rest of the song back towards the end here, and it's really, it should kind of be a bookend. That's how I use the song. I love it. So we're going to also kind of interleave Sarbjeet into the conversation here so we can take a guess. I mean, look at how this sort of lines up, right? You can see, again, when you expand the waveform, you can see very clearly how things line up. So I'm going to go ahead and just try to eyeball it. Yeah, it looks pretty good right there. It's not, not too shabby, right? And from there, I think we should be pretty good. We probably don't need the outro because most of that is, hey, click here on this video and that video. And if you didn't like that video, right? And it's like, we don't need that for the podcast. So we can go right into this, right? So let's go. Let me see. I don't know if the audio is going to come through properly on OBS. So let me see here.
YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe on Facebook. I'd love for you to hit like on that. That helps us out with the algorithm. Hit subscribe. Please do leave a comment as well. We'd love to hear where everybody is watching us from. It's really neat to see all of the different cities and countries that people are viewing this from.
It looks like it came through. I don't know if it did, but I hope it did. I hope the audio did. And if not, well, c'est la vie. You'll get the idea. So if we go back to the beginning of this thing and just start from scratch, right? Let's get the edit going. I don't like to start it from the very beginning. I typically like to start it from like this area. So I hit I for my in point.
Hello and welcome everybody.
That's almost perfect, right? So it actually timed out really well. I don't want it there though. That's not gonna work. So we want to bring it in just a hair more. So
hello and welcome everybody.
Now we need to make sure we can hear Boo. So I'm going to use the pen tool by hitting P on my keyboard. And I like to give it a moment. And then, ta-da. So this will go.
Hello and welcome everybody.
Too much. I undid that.
Hello and welcome everybody to this week's DevCentral
too much. I want to hear some of that music.
Hello and welcome everybody. Hello and welcome everybody to this week's DevCentral Connects. My name is Boo, one of your community evangelists on the F5 DevCentral team. This week,
Then we can put another marker in here because we want to take this guy down. Boo's quick intro was done there, and now we want to make sure that we sort of fade the listener out. So we're going to drop one here and just kind of all the way to the end. Now, we may at some point get more aggressive with this, right? We may take a bump down or something like that, but for now, we're just going to kind of leave it like this to see what it sounds like later. Because we're not really going to look at this now. We're gonna do some other things first. So watch this. The one nice thing about I gotta hit V so that I get back to not my not my pen tool. I want to be able to drag and drop. So that's the V on the keyboard. Okay, we have our stuff laid down. Since we are here, before we do any cuts, we want to make sure the audio is crisp. Now I turn on my speakers for this, but whatever. You guys will get the point. So, if you will recall, one of the things that I like to do with my edits is I like to put in some simple audio effects. So the effects that I think are imperative are the compressor sandwich, right? So that's the big one. The compressor sandwich is like the firewall sandwich, but it's the compressor sandwich, sandwiched in between two limiters. This allows you to adjust gain before setting the crispness, if you will, and then pumping that back out into another gain adjustment so that you can really dial in exactly where your waveforms are and, how close to, how close to any distortion you are. That's the thing. You just don't want to peak any of your audio, and that's what the limiters will help you do. So we'll walk through that. I'm going to go ahead and select my hard limiter and put that on Boo. Now I'm going to select the multiband compressor and put that on Boo, and another hard limiter on Boo. Now I'm going to go ahead and put the filter and EQ. Now that I've added Boo's audio effects, I'm going to set them really quick.
And I thought he pulled valuable insights from that. So I'm
Very,
really
very
excited
thin.
to have him on. Before I do bring him on, I just want to remind everybody, you may be watching us live right now. You might be watching us from YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, maybe on Facebook.
If we look at the mixer,
I'd love for you to hit like on that. That helps us out with the algorithm. Hit subscribe.
Not terrible
Please
as far as volume is concerned.
We'd love to hear where everybody
but we can definitely do better
watching us from. It's really neat to see
on
all
his
of
effects.
the different cities and countries that people
limiter, compressor.
are viewing this
Let's
from.
go to the compressor.
Also, you might be listening to this via podcast
and
right
we're
now,
going
or
to
if you are watching this, you might not know that we're on and available
enhance
as a podcast.
his lows.
So you can find us on Apple, Google, and Spotify. So please subscribe to us on there as well. And if you are listening right now, we'd love for you to leave a 5-star review. That helps us out greatly as well.
We want to make sure.
Without further ado,
we want to make sure that we also set his EQ. Now, bass EQ, I say, looks like a bird. It almost in every scenario almost always looks like a bird from the front. So I having EQ'd Boo a number of times, I know he doesn't need much. His mic is excellent. So we're going to go ahead and just touch that.
Actually, he took it from the approach of looking at how all of this consumer electronics is actually intersecting with cloud compute, the stuff that
and it sounds so much bigger. I didn't adjust volume or anything like that.
Our audience is building day in.
Now, if I look at my audio meters
and day out and maintaining and operating, and I thought he pulled valuable insights from that. So I'm really excited to have him on. Before I do bring him on, I just want to remind everybody.
So that's not bad, really. That's pretty good. So all right, let's go ahead and
you may be watching.
Now that we've got Boo, again, I said Boo would take no time. So now I can copy Boo's settings. Now I select Sarpjeet and hit Paste Attributes. That allows me to paste the EQ, limiter, compressor, and limiter with the settings. So then I can start with Boo's standard and very conservative equalization as a starting point. From there, I can adjust for Sarbjeet. So we copy these in, and now if we listen to Sarbjeet.
And so was Google, and Google Cloud presence was there as well. Bigger Google sort of umbrella company was there.
Now I want to take a listen and see if Boo at his loudest, and he appears to get loudest right here.
So that was
I want to see if that pegs.
a very interesting discussion.
Yeah, that is actually pretty interesting. So
It got hot. Notice that. See? My audio meter's just pegged out. So I set that 3 up. I'm going to back that down to, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fix that with a limiter because I want the overall volume up, but I want Boo to peak out at a lower point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Boo's second limiter, go back to my effect controls, and I'm going to, at this point, adjust his limiter and say the maximum amplitude is going to be at -3. What this means is that he's not going to go much louder. So let's see if we actually ended clipping that off and making that not happen. That's my hope.
To the car manufacturers. So that was a very interesting discussion.
yeah, that is actually pretty interesting.
Well, it was barely. Oh, and I'm still at 3 here. So he did hit it. Let's go back and see if we can't adjust that a little bit more. So if I go back to Boo and I take his second limiter here, we edit that, and we are going to also take the input down rather than cap the output. Let's say, all right, we're going to limit the signal coming in from the compressor to this limiter. So I'm going to take that down by 2 decibels and see if we can't clip that. 2 different ways of limiting with a limiter, right? Limit the input coming into the limiter and limiting the sound as it leaves the limiter, right? It's almost like path of a packet in Big IP.
Yeah, that is actually pretty interesting. So, that probably...
Oh, it looks like we didn't. Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah, that is actually pretty interesting.
Now that is a little too much. So I'm actually going to take Boo back up one more, but I'm going to do it by relaxing the choke on the out. So I'm going to -2. That means a little bit more of a conservative setting on both while getting the maximum volume out of Boo's voice, right? That's the thing. We just want to eliminate, peaking. So let's see if that did the trick. I think I hit. Nope. Let's see.
Yeah, that is actually pretty interesting. So, that probably ties into what some of the conversations that you'll have later today.
So there you see it. We were able to really take Boo's voice down just a hair, just so that it didn't peak out. And we keep the volume still there.
Around SuperCloud, but being able to harness.
The next part of this is going to be pretty weird, right? We gotta. I'm actually going to cut this thing up again without looking at it. So that is a strange thing. But also we know that the end is going to be its own way. Well, we'll get to the end when we get to the end. You'll see what I do there. But one of the strange things about this, if I'm going for speed, I'm going to go ahead and actually make my cuts because, again, we're not dealing with video. So let me try and, wrench these guys a little bit closer. Let's take a close-up look and see how much we need to adjust. Right? So realistically, the conversation looks like, I think we adjusted too much there right here. So you see how Boo's waveform ends, Sarbjeet starts, right? So watch this. We're going to go through and go clip, clip, right? And we want to just actually make the cuts ahead of time because, again, there's no video. We don't need to know whether or not this is going to be harmful to our guest, because there's no video. So I am making my arbitrary cuts here so that I can line up the conversation as naturally as possible. Again, it doesn't matter if we cut something off because we can roll it out of the track at, either way. And again, you'll see what I mean. But we lose no data by doing it this way. So here I go. Let me just make all the rest of the cuts on this thing. And this is a good one here. Now, of course, we're not going to adjust all these little, which are kind of the giggles and the, maybe, oh yeah, those kinds of things or whatnot. We don't need to worry about cutting for those, because those are just sort of, we can edit them or, cut as we go. But most of the time, now that I've got the equalization set, the rest of this thing just falls into place. So here I go. I'll go ahead and continue making my cuts, arbitrary cuts. And more cuts. And here we see Sarbjeet is done. He leaves the show. So when he leaves, we got Boo. And we know that we're going to do this deal. So here, let's switch back to our pen tool, which we can use to adjust the song. Now, I'm actually going to let me hit V again. I'm going to bring this guy out just a hair because I want to have a little bit left at the end there. Just so I have something to play with. Now my pen tool, right, because I usually like to actually leave this. And then here. Now I do this to give it actually a bow. So you go slightly aggressively and then really aggressively. And that's how you kind of fade out a song. You don't want to just start fading out and have it be very linear because it ends up sounding choppy. This sounds much more natural, almost like walking away from a speaker. And then, of course, we also know we're going to have some other stuff here. So it's going to come down to, like, I think from experience, like -12, 13, somewhere in there. And then this guy, we're going to drag all the way out. We'll see what happens. It doesn't matter. We just set something for now. So now if we take a step back here, I've gone through and done a one pass on this guy. I set my EQs for my two subjects. And now we have a song. We have a track in front of us that is ready to be edited. So if I listen to this from the beginning, I can go through and just chop this. Now is where I take my focus down and begin to really listen.
Hello and welcome everybody to this week's DevCentral Connects. My name is...
Now you can see I'm already way too loud with the music and Boo. So let's sneak in even more and adjust that to a better spot. And how do we see it was too loud? Look it. I'm peaked. So we don't want to be peaked. So we're going to take it down to the point where we can just...
Hello and welcome everybody to this...
So my bass hit is the trouble at the beginning. So I'm a little too loud on the intro.
Hello and welcome.
Barely got that. So another thing we could do is for this one, I'm just going to adjust the volume. -1. Okay, again, so...
Hello and welcome everybody to...
Better. Okay, we're no longer peaking.
Hello and welcome everybody to this week's DevCentral Connects. My name is Boo, one of your community evangelists on the F5 DevCentral team. This week we're going to have an exciting show. We're going to be joined by guest Sarbjeet Johal. He's an independent industry analyst, cloud analyst, and he was recently at CES, Consumer Electronics Show, and I thought that was a really cool show to go to. Not just
it's too much. I can't do that. It's just too much.
This week we're going to have an exciting show. We're going to be joined by...
So I want to have this thing down.
I guess Sarbjeet Johal.
I took a break there because the stuff just froze up on me. So we're going to try this again. So here's the end, right? I just edited the whole thing. I'm not going to teach you how to edit. So the end of it is sort of like the beginning, right? It's we'll hit go on this.
Get to today. There's links to that as well. So there is actually some news articles that I did post in there. Would love to expand those conversations with folks on community.f5.com. But we'll save that for the forums. Please leave some messages on there. Would love to chat with you about some of the articles that I put up around an African gaming startup, malware coming up on some of those Android TV boxes, which is a conversation that I just had with Aubrey 2 weeks ago. And Microsoft offering ChatGPT on Azure already after just last week announcing their second big round of investment with ChatGPT. So really exciting stuff happening in the industry. We'd love to chat with you all about it. And again, if you have not already, follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, subscribe, hit like, leave comments. You can find us on podcast format as well.
We're peaked. Got to come down just a little bit.
Google, Apple, and Spotify. With that, I am going to close things out for this week, and I will see you all next Tuesday, same time, 8:30.
Too much. All right, so we're going to move this over a little bit. This guy over just a hair too, so we can hear Boo on his outro.
With that, I am going to close things out for this week, and I will see you all next Tuesday, same time, 8:30. Bye for now.
Still too loud. So let's bring this in and down a hair.
Close things out for this week, and I will see you all next Tuesday, same time, 8:30. Bye for now.
Done. Okay. So we got through doing that. That's it. We finished this part out. And what's next? So next, I think we're going to need to export this guy. So, did I peg?
I will see you all next Tuesday, same time, 8:30. Bye for now.
Ooh. Just a hair. Okay. So let's try that again.
Close things out for this week, and I will see you all next Tuesday, same time, 8:30. Bye for now.
Great. Okay. Now we've got a functional recording. All right. So we're done. First things first, save your project, folks. Okay. So I just hit save on this because we want to make sure that we keep, we keep the edit. So we should be done now. If I take a look at this entire file now, let's drag this out and see if we can't. It doesn't need to be quite so big, but so here's the project. We got really just 3 audio tracks, and now when we go to export this, I set my export settings, which are the sequence name. I just changed that. And the format is going to be MP3. One important thing here is we don't want, under the basic audio settings, we want this to be at 320 kilobits per second. We have the space, and it's worth it. It really, the bang for your buck over 192 or whatever the default is, I think it's, automatically comes to 192. 320 is worlds beyond. There's a very, very noticeable difference. So since we're not going to make a 100 meg file, this is fantastic. Now we hit export, and we should have our finished product. Okay, so it looks like we are finished with the export, and the next piece of things is that we need to go ahead and upload things into StreamYard. So, or not into StreamYard. We need to upload things into SoundCloud next. And that is going to be pretty simple. Let me switch over to that. Okay, so I'm logged in now as DevCentral. So the next thing we do here is, if we want to upload this guy, we go to upload. We choose our file to upload. And for me, that is going to be located in the folder that I created at the very beginning for the episode. So I'm going to drag in our file, which is a whopping 63.2. Okay. Now, we don't want to call it this title, okay? Boo is going to actually modify that. That's Boo's been doing that on his own. So I'm going to upload the Jimmy Beats image, which I highly recommend everyone have a copy of. If you don't have it, just, get it from one of us, Boo or I have it. F5DC podcast avatar ping is the one. I think it's in Reich also, but here we go. Now we got Jimmy Beats. And the genre, okay, the genre I've been setting on this is way at the bottom, technology. Additional tags, I've been doing F5, DevCentral, F5, DevCentral. Something like that. I don't know. Then with the description. So for the description, I've been simply going to excuse me, the live stream. And we just did Consumer Tech meets Cloud Compute at CES, yada, yada. So what I've been doing is I've been grabbing the description. So copy from YouTube, and we're going to paste into the description. And I suppose the title could probably be identical. And I think we can probably go public with that, but I want to let Boo be the final judge, so I'm going to select private. Click save. That's the end of that.